Hi there, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. This is Ranjit, and in this video, we are going to do the in-depth review for this Honor 8 Pro. And I have been using this device for almost 2 weeks now. For the first week, I used it with the Lance Geo SIM, and for the second week, I was using a dual SIM mode with the Reliance Geo and Airtel SIM. And I now have pretty good experience about this device. So I'll be dividing this review between the pros and cons, what I liked about this device, and what are the things that I did not like about this device. And this can be a pretty long video, so in the description area I'll list out the different parts of the review so that you can quickly move to one area or the other. And before I start the review, let me give you a configuration overview. This Honor 8 Pro is powered by the Kirin 960 SoC, which is an Octa Core processor. It comes with 6GB of RAM, 128GB of internal storage. It has a 5.7-inch Quad HD IPS display, and other specs are there on the screen. So as you can see from the specs point of view, we are getting a lot for this device, considering the price point at which it sells. In India, this Honor 8 Pro is being sold in India via Amazon. I'll have the link in the show notes. And this is selling for rupees 30,000. I'll talk about the price later on. But let's start this review and let's divide it between the pros and cons. Let's first talk about the pros. What are the good things that I have noticed about this device? And the first thing that I immediately noticed is when I opened this device is the screen. It's having a 5.7-inch screen, sort of a phablet size screen like the Galaxy Note devices, but the thing is that this is having a Quad HD display, and the screen quality is actually really good. It's an IPS grade screen, hence even if you see, the viewing angles are really good, and the quality of the panel that Honor has put on this is actually really good. No issues regarding that. So overall, a very good screen panel that Honor has put. There is one minor con about the screen. I'll talk about that in the con, so just stay tuned. But overall, nevertheless, a very good quality IPS grade screen, and it's a Quad HD screen that we are getting. Next thing is regarding auto brightness sensor. It has an auto brightness sensor, and the auto brightness sensor is calibrated very well on this device. That's the reason I always keep it on auto brightness, and even when I move to indoor lighting conditions and outdoor lighting conditions, I never have to fiddle with the auto brightness. It works very well, so it's very well calibrated. And regarding sensors also, it has all the sensors that you would expect. Even it has IR blaster, using which you can actually control devices like television, air conditioners, etc. And now moving to the build quality. The build quality is actually really good on this device. As you can see from the back, it's metallic and feels very solid to hold, and it has Gorilla Glass 3 protection on the front. So in terms of build quality, I have no problems, and it feels like a premium build quality device when you hold it. So no problems regarding the build quality. Now moving to the version that is being sold in India. The version that is being sold in India is the 6GB RAM variant that comes with 128GB of internal storage. And I'm really happy to say that generally this never happens in India. Very rarely it happens. We are getting the top end variant of this Honor 8 Pro in India. There is another variant that comes with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, but that is not being sold in India. We are getting the 6GB RAM model with 128GB of internal storage, and this is being sold in India via Amazon for rupees 30,000. I'll have the link for Amazon in the show notes for your reference. And I'm happy that Honor has introduced this version in India, because internationally this 6GB RAM model with 128GB of internal storage is approximately sold for 40,000. So at least for once we are getting a great deal in India. And now moving to dual SIM functionality. It's a dual SIM hybrid device, guys, so you can put 2 nano SIMs on it, or 1 nano SIM, and the second slot can be used as a micro SD card. So regarding storage, you shouldn't have an issue with this device. Now moving to the speakers, it has a single speaker here at the bottom. It does not have that stereo speaker setup, but the single speaker is actually pretty loud and adequate, so no issues regarding the loudspeaker. But I miss the fact that it does not have stereo speaker setup. I also, another thing that I've noticed is that, and this will be for music lovers. If you listen to a lot of music via the 3.5 headphone jack, the audio output that you get from the headphone jack is excellent, I would say. Among some of the best smartphones that I have reviewed regarding the headphone jack, it's among them. And the audio quality is really good. I tested with a bunch of high-end headphones. For example, this is the Audio-Technica M40X. I also tested with M50X and some Grado SR60 that I have, and the sound output I was getting was excellent, and it even drives these heavy headphones without any issues. It also has a DTS audio, option for the headphone jack. So in terms of sound output from the headphone jack, if you listen to a lot of music, you'll really love this phone. Excellent output from the 3.5mm headphone jack. Now moving to cellular call quality, as I mentioned, I tested it with Airtel and Reliance Jio, and I did not have any issues regarding the cellular call quality. The calls were loud and clear. The earpiece is pretty clear, no issues regarding that. And I also took some calls via the speakerphone. And as I mentioned earlier, the speakerphone calls were also good because the loudspeaker, though it's just this mono one, is pretty loud. Now, some of you were asking me, does it have a physical LED notification light? Yes, it has it. It's in the earpiece and it's a tiny one. It's a multicolored one. So yeah, the LED notification light is there. Now, moving to the general performance, I did not notice any lagginess while I was using and testing this device. It runs on a custom UI that is known as Emotion UI. The version is EMUI version 5.1. And in this one, we have an option to enable the app tray. For example, in earlier Honor devices, we didn't have the app tray. So all the apps were here on this, but here you can enable and have an app tray. And I like that it is closer to the stock Android experience. You get the quick toggles, notifications and stuff. So it's a custom UI, but regarding performance, I did not have any issues regarding the performance, and the performance of the phone was actually really good. And also regarding RAM management, you don't have to worry about RAM management because it comes with 6 GB of RAM, and the RAM management has been done very well. In fact, I didn't have to worry about the apps management or the RAM management when I was using the device. So in terms of responsiveness and RAM management, Honor has done an excellent job with EMUI 5.1. By the way, it runs on Android version 7.0. That is no good. Moving to gaming, I did play quite a few games with this device. For example, Mortal Kombat X. Then I also tried Modern Combat 5, Leo's Fortune, and also some other heavy games like Asphalt Extreme and even Asphalt 8 at the highest setting. Yes, it did touch a maximum temperature of about 43 degrees Celsius, but in terms of gameplay, the gaming experience was actually very good. And in fact, it played Asphalt 8 at the highest setting also without any issues. So in terms of gaming also, I had a actually very good experience with this device. But yes, the back can get slightly warm and reach temperatures up to about 43 degrees Celsius. Now moving to the battery life that I was getting, it has a 4000 milliamp hour battery which is sealed inside. And in terms of battery life, I would say the battery life that I was getting was actually really good. As you can see from the charts, I was hovering anywhere between 5.5 hours to 6.5 hours of screen on time with over 24 hours of standby time, and it could even last me about 1.5 days. And if you're not a heavy user, as you can see, it can last almost up to 2 days. So in terms of battery life, I have no issues. It can easily last for a typical working day without any issues. And some of you have asked me to compare the battery life with the OnePlus 5. And if I compare it with the OnePlus 5, the battery life is slightly better than the OnePlus 5. I would say I was getting a screen on time about 40 to 50 minutes more compared to the OnePlus 5. So it can easily last for a typical working day. And regarding the charging, they have a custom fast charger. It's an 18-watt charger that comes in the box, and it takes about 1 hour 55 minutes to charge fully using that charger. Now moving to the camera, and it has this dual camera setup. As you can see, we have 2 cameras on the back, and both of them are actually 12 megapixel sensors. But the thing is that Honor is doing this strange thing. The first sensor is a normal RGB sensor, that means it's a color sensor, and the second one is a monochrome sensor. And Honor actually takes pictures from both these and combines them to give you better results. And as you can see, I have taken some sample shots around my office, especially in outdoor conditions. The pictures come out to be really good. The dynamic range is very good. The color reproduction is actually very good. It looks very natural. And you also have that bokeh effect. You have that option. You can enable it or disable it and get that bokeh effect. So overall, in terms of camera performance, the camera performance was actually very good in outdoor conditions and if you have decent lighting. But when we move to indoor lighting and artificial lighting, I won't say exactly indoor, but very low lighting conditions, then the camera performance was not that great if you compare it with other flagships like the Galaxy S8 or the Pixel. Again, I have already mentioned you guys that I'll be posting a full dedicated camera review. I will be doing that. If you recall, I was sick for about almost 4-5 days, hence I couldn't shoot a dedicated camera review, but I will be posting that hopefully by next week, so stay tuned. So overall camera is good, but again in very low lighting conditions it struggles, and I'll talk about that why later on in the cons section. Now moving to the fingerprint scanner, it has a rear mounting fingerprint scanner, and again, as you can see, it is very good. I don't have to see also, you just tap it and it works. So it's an excellent responsive fingerprint scanner, so you don't have to worry about the fingerprint scanner performance. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this Honor 8 Pro does not skimp on any sensors, so you get all the sensors. For example, even NFC and IR blaster is present on this one. So these were the good things about the Honor 8 Pro. Now let's move to some of the things that I did not like about this device. And the first thing is regarding the screen. Though the screen quality is actually really good, but in direct sunlight, it is not very bright. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not visible. It is visible, but you have to tilt the phone up and down a little bit. I wish the screen was a little bit more brighter in direct sunlight. Next thing is that when you use the camera a lot, for example, I was taking quite a few pictures on my terrace garden, and after about 2 odd minutes, I noticed if you use the camera continuously, this handset, this particular area tends to get pretty hot. So that is one thing you have to be aware of. The phone did not shut off or do something like that, but this area was definitely getting pretty hot when I was shooting continuously a lot of photographs and shooting videos with this device. Also, I don't like the fact that this device, though it's a camera-centric device, does not have any optical image stabilization. I have the same problem even with the OnePlus 5. Even OnePlus 5 is claiming as a camera-centric phone, but they don't have optical image stabilization. So again, if you shoot video up to 1080p, it's fine. The 1080p video employs electronic image stabilization. Though the 4K video you can shoot, and the 4K video quality is good on this one. But the thing is that if you move, as you saw with the sample in 4K, it is very shaky. So if you're going to move around, don't shoot video in 4K. Stick up to only 1080p. So I don't get it why both the OnePlus 5 and this Honor 8 Pro skimped on the optical image stabilization. Another thing is that the lens that is used, this dual camera setup what they have, the lens that they have used is a f2.2 lens. Hence, this lens cannot gather that much light. These days, we are seeing smartphones that have a f1.8 or even a f1.7 lens. So they gather in a lot of light. So this is the reason I feel in low lighting condition, very low lighting conditions, there is quite a bit of noise in the pictures when you shoot pictures in low lighting conditions with this Honor 8 Pro. I hope they can fix it with the software update, because they're combining the image quality from the black and white sensor and this color sensor. But as of now, in very low lighting conditions, if you are expecting the performance will be spectacular and compete with the Galaxy S8 or the Pixel, then you would be disappointed. In low lighting conditions and especially artificial lighting conditions, there is a bit of noise in the picture. And lastly, again, it's an Honor device, so regarding software updates, they are not that fast, so you have to be aware of that. Software updates are actually pretty slow generally on Honor devices, so that is another thing that you have to keep in mind. So overall, I would say in terms of performance, the performance of this phone was actually very good, and in terms of price to performance ratio, you are getting a lot of hardware for the price. As of now in India, you're getting the maximum amount of hardware for the price. So in terms of that, it is a spectacular phone, and overall performance of this phone was also very good. And now you have to decide if this phone is good for not. Just check the pros and cons and then decide if this phone is for you or not. And if you're purchasing this phone, do use the link provided in the YouTube show notes. It does help the channel. I hope you found this video review helpful. If you found it helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button and also share it with your friends. Maybe they'll also find it helpful. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.